Hey everybody, it's April 23rd, 2021. I'm going to show a few of the trades today, go over kind of this new experiment I'm doing with a little bit bigger targets, the 50 tick stop loss, 100 tick target method that I am trying to see over a period of several weeks what my win rate is, if this actually yields even better results than my typical 40 tick stop, 40 tick target method that I generally use. So we're going to look at some of what happened today. I'm also got some questions. How do I mark off some of my support and resistance areas? So I'm going to address that real quickly. First of all, let me just say that it's extremely simple. I don't see any real reason to complicate it. The thing I do tends to work out really well. The targets that I generally have get hit. The support and resistance areas, price tends to honor them. So I'm going to start off by saying I generally will pull up a 30-minute chart. That's what you're looking at here. I may shrink it up a little bit, and this gives me a pretty good look back period. This goes all the way here to March 25th. Over a month worth of data, you can see what price has done. And I marked this off this morning before the session started. This is around 9:15 or so this morning. So what do I have here? Well, on the downside, we had two little bottoms here, so I drew a line here. It's pretty obvious. This was the low from a few days ago. A low hit there again. Price kind of bounced. This was our high. You can see price interacted a few times here. This was the highs from April 17th or 18th. We moved down, and here was another low here. And so what I'm seeing, when I'm formulating a little bit of a trade plan, if we get short, we break through here. I know we can probably get to here. If it kept going and broke through that, lots of momentum, we could easily get to here. Maybe then it bounces, we could see buying. So very much have a pretty good idea if we go along. I had marked this area off because we had a little bit, I didn't see this as a strong area. To me, this is a much stronger area. And if we got good momentum up, we could probably get all the way up to here. So that's kind of how my thought process is. Okay, this is a 2-minute chart. I like to map things out on smaller time frames as well. And we see a couple of things here. The price interacted with this area, was in a range most of the evening. What do we know? If we go long, we've got a huge gap area here. There's nothing to stop price from getting all the way up to here. If we're going short, there are a couple little speed bumps here. But we should be able to get to maybe some of these lows from the previous day. So again, mapping it out on the 2-minute chart, seeing things maybe a little differently than on the 30-minute. And so what did we say? Look what happened today. And where did price go? Right to the level that I drew this morning. And it's the same area that you saw on the 30-minute chart. So these are some of the areas. Now I also do some things on my 5-range chart, which is going to refine my entries. It's going to give me good areas to look for pullbacks. And I'll show a little bit of that. And I mark those up generally in real time as I'm trading. I'm moving lines around. Some that are no longer valid, I'm going to move to. Okay, so now we have the 5-range chart. And generally we'll go back to the start of the Asian session, previous day, overnight, and start looking at what this did. Now, this chart's not very pretty, I'll admit. Doesn't look as nice as the other ones we were just looking at. Don't hate him because he's ugly. Let's have a look here. Okay, so what do I see here? We started a little bit of a downward campaign. I'm going to mark this off. This is where orders started to come in. We've pulled back here twice. Areas that have been hit a couple of times and then resume a trend I like. You don't really need volume profile to tell you a lot of orders came in at 2 in the morning here to drive this down 100 ticks or so. Okay, so as I'm scrolling, I see we made a bottom here. Going to mark the bottom off. And I'm also looking at the 2-minute and the other one. Some of these areas will already have been taken care of. But I'm more likely to hit swing areas here that you don't always see on the 2-minute chart. You can see how price respected that little line I drew. Came back down. And now we're into sort of a range. I'm going to zoom out a little. And we got really rangy and choppy before the market opened. Going to probably draw some lines at the bottom and tops of these ranges here. Okay, so market opens. Now I'm going to start kind of adjusting the lines. You can see we pulled back to here and started moving back up. We also broke through this top here. We dipped below it slightly. Would probably draw a line here too. So you can see price really respects this general area here. Here's where we really start moving back up again after this pullback here. So I'm usually drawing lines at these swing areas, especially ones that pull back to an area that's of significance. We had several bottoms here. After you're getting several bottoms and we start breaking out of some of these top ranges, you know you can probably go long again, especially since there isn't any resistance. I'd probably move one up to here. So that's it basically to answer the questions how I draw them. Doesn't get too much more complicated than that. Okay, now I am going to show some of the trades from today. This was my first trade. It was around 9:43. We had already broken through this area. We'd pulled back pretty nicely. I was looking for the upward trend to resume. I'm generally looking at the 5 range to show me, because it's always going to be where you really see price start to move before anything happens with this. Got a little bit of a W formation. Thought we might be moving back up. And that was a loser. It quickly shot down. Okay, here was trade number 2. This was a much better entry. Why? Because first of all, if you look here at the 1 and the 2-minute charts, we've pulled back to the breakout area. So you always got a better chance of things resuming once you've made a pullback to a previous area that's now a support area that was resistance. Let's scroll through here. You can see price definitely looks like it's making an upward push off of here. Nice little pin on the 1 minute. I get a little bit of a V pullback and I enter. I'm just scrolling through this. And that was a full 100 ticks. Okay, here was another trade. This was not too long after news came out. There was new home sale news. I went in this trade as it looked like it was breaking out of this channel. We had a pullback to these EMA areas on the 1 minute. And that was a loser. So I had two $500 losers and $1,000 winner, which brought me back to even. Now, I'm not particularly proud of this trade. I don't know what possessed me in this strong trend. It hadn't even gotten a 2-minute signal. I think I got a little carried away with 5-range price action. Didn't even wait for this bar really to close, the purple bar below these EMAs, which is really where I should start looking for shorts. Not yet. So I kind of jumped the gun and went short here. And that was definitely another loser, 50-tick loser. But I could see that we were definitely pivoting up, and without much hesitation I reversed and went long. And again, another 100-tick target. And this one, since there was no real resistance in the way, except for that, and my target was right about there before. I didn't want it to have to get through there, but that was 100 ticks. And you can see, even after losing 3 losses and 2 wins, I'm still profitable so far. Okay, so a little bit after 11:20, somewhere around there, and you can see we had a really strong trend today. We never even broke the trend on my 1-minute chart, and the 30-minute showing we did get above this little area, and that there's nothing really in the way till we get here. So normally I would not want to take a trade all the way at this high, but because of the momentum I was seeing, I actually enter here and this one, because of our good lack of any resistance there, makes it all the way up. So that was a 100-tick winner. So even though I had 3 losses, and 3 wins, if my target and stop had been the same, I would have basically broken even. But due to my 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, I finish up very profitable. So having a 50% win rate today worked out pretty well. So after a few weeks, I'm going to see how this works out, these higher, 50-tick stop and 100-tick target thing. All right, that's it.